Hello, Pokey Peeps. This is Ollie May, and welcome back to this fanfiction. A month later, my point of view, Dark opens the front door. Amy rushes over to him and hugged him. Dark, she cried. Search and I hugged Dark. Ollie, Auntie will be back in a few days, Dark said. It was like he read my mind. I smiled weakly. I walked upstairs. Clearly, we are winning, but was all I heard. Dark explained to Amy. I continued upstairs sadly. God damn, I miss Auntie. Suddenly I heard the front door fly open. I was pushed to the side as man brought a body on a stretcher upstairs. Dark and Petey Dive followed it up. Amy and Search were close behind me. It shocked me. The body was Auntie. I began to run upstairs, but Search and Amy held me back. Search whistled and Abra shook her head in the open window. She gently grabbed the back of my shirt with her mouth and pulled me outside. I stopped struggling and relaxed. Auntie would want me to continue life. I walked inside and did my normal routine. I helped the maids. I made desserts. I helped Search with her school project, and I helped Amy garden. I checked the time. It was 9:47. I walked upstairs. Dark was leaning against the door. I could tell he was tired. Go to bed. I will sit out here. I scolded. Dark did as told and went to bed. I leaned against the door. My legs became wobbly, so I sat down. I knew Auntie would want me to continue. He wouldn't want me to mope around the house. Auntie might not make it, but I knew he will be proud no matter what. I fell asleep with the thought. Amy's point of view. Ollie is so strong. She did everything she had to do, even though Auntie is all effed up. She knows he might not make it, but she powered through. She is such an amazing woman. Ollie even helped me garden. I walked upstairs and noticed Ollie sleeping on the ground. I made her a bed on the ground with blankets and pillows, and I set her on it. I knew if I woke her up, she wouldn't leave that spot. Ollie was worried like all the rest of us. We all knew Auntie may die. Oh. Sorry. 5 months later, my perspective. I continued life without Auntie. He was still in a coma. Most figured he would die soon, but I had small hope this wouldn't happen. I creeped upstairs to our bedroom. Now that the doctors had done almost all they could, we are able to visit Auntie. Every night I would sleep in his chair next to him and hold his hand. Once in a great while he would twitch his hands or his eyelids would flutter. I opened the bedroom door and walked in. I sat in my normal chair and relaxed. I noticed Antiseptice's eyes lids continued to flutter. I love you, Auntie. I will always love you, I whispered, beginning to lose hope. His hand twitched and his head moved. He had done this one other time, and it was last night. The doctor said it meant two things. He was either about to die or wake up. I stood up and left the room. Mom, how's Dad doing? Search asked when I met her on the elevator. He's fine, I lied, not wanting to upset Search. I know you're lying, Search whispered. I noticed a tear roll down her cheek. That's exactly what I want to avoid. He's twitching like he was last night, honey, I replied as the elevator hit floor 97. Search nodded. She got out on floor 89. That was where she did her homework. I was going to floor 82. On floor 82 there was a bar. I planned on getting a fruity, girly type of alcohol leaving. Finally, the elevator stopped at 82. I got out and walked inside the bar. The bartender knew what I got, so she threw it towards me. I caught the bottle. I noticed someone familiar sitting down. It was Dark. Dark, I asked. His head was facing the table and he was drawing circles with his fingers. He looked up at me. Any life in his eyes had disappeared. It broke my heart to see him lifeless. Over time, the two of us became close. We loved each other like We loved each other like siblings do. I hugged him. Ollie, I have lost all hope, he admitted. Dark, we all have, I replied. Suddenly, Warford buzzied through the doors. He's awake, he yelled. I teleported to our room. There sat Auntie, his eyes barely open, but he still smiled. My point of view, I hugged Auntie with all I could. I love you too, he whispered. Did he? No, couldn't be. I smiled and sat next to Auntie. The army. They have been defeated. Scar has surrendered, Auntie explained. I nodded in understanding. Auntie, what's Scar's real name? I asked. Memories seemed to flood his mind. As Sar Septicai, we called him Zar, Auntie replied, looking into the distance. Zar Septicai. He's related to Auntie. How is he? I asked. He's my brother, but we are nothing alike. He is evil. He spares no mercy. He looks down upon me, he replies angrily. I know he isn't mad. I mean, it's your brother. I kissed his cheek. I looked up to him. I'll look up to you. I will never look down on you, Dad. Serge interrupted. Auntie smiled and sat in bed. He held out his hands for his adopted daughter to hug him. The two hugged. It was sweet. Later that night, Auntie was up and out, ready to go. I giggled as he tried to seduce me. Auntie, you need to rest. I scolded with a giggle. Come on, I'm horny after 5 months, Auntie complained. I blushed and rested my head on his hands. Auntie, when you're rested, I replied. Could that be tomorrow? Auntie asked. I rolled my eyes with a smile. If you're good, I said like a mother. Auntie smiled and went to sleep. I snapped my fingers and the lights went out. I felt Auntie's warm lips against mine. I snuck into the kiss. I let my guard down, and let's just say Auntie got his way. Dark's perspective. I was glad Auntie woke up. He and I had been lifelong friends. Hey, Dark. Can you help me with my homework? Mom and Dad are sleeping. Serge asked. I laughed and nodded. What do you need help with? I asked as he sat down next to me. Math. I hate it, he replied. I read the problem. It was a multi-step problem. Alright, you need to divide 778,967 by 67 and multiply the answer by 27, I told her. She did it without hesitation. Wow, that was easy, Serge whispered. See, I told you, I yelled. Serge smiled and stood up. He did a few equations, still standing, and went to bed. I smiled and followed her actions. As I walked by Ollie's and Auntie's room, I heard the two sleeping. I chuckled and went to my room. I cuddled Amy and soon fell asleep.